And we're off. Hi. So tonight what we're going to make is what's called Koki, which is a really simple flatbread with a bunch of onion in it, a bunch of chilies in it, a bunch of coriander in it, and some seasoning as well. We're going to do it in 4 parts. So the first part is where we mix the dough up. The second part is where we form the dough. The third part is where we actually kind of make the bread itself, and the last part is when we're going to serve it. So I'm going to serve it with some yogurt and like a side, but I will do the side in a different video because the last time I made a video it got really long. So to start with, I've got a bowl which has a medium onion which I've just chopped up with a onion hair in it, you know, because the onion has a hair bit. Yeah. The reason I'm gonna chop the onion on video is because it made me cry a lot and I had to start again. But yeah, you know, this shit happens, so it's okay. I'm gonna quickly chop up my chilies as well. So I've got the chili in there. These are like Mexican style kind of jalapenos. There is no right kind of chili that you need to use. You can use pretty much anything you want. You just want it to be a bit of a fine dice. You don't want the rings like that, so I'm going to cut them into rings and then kind of go over them so they're cut up a little bit fine. You don't want the ends of it, very obviously. So this is like a really simple, nice comfort foodish style recipe. It's not particularly difficult, but it does keep really well. So like if you make this, the bread itself will be fine for like you know, a good amount of time before you can't eat it, so to speak. It'll keep for at least like 2 to 3 days in the fridge or in an airtight container. So it's like super good for traveling, things like that. The only kind of tricky bit about this bread is that you need wholemeal flour. You don't really need wholemeal flour, I suppose, but wholemeal flour is really nice because it gives it like a really kind of rich color and things like that. So that's my chilies chopped up. I'm going to quickly chop up some coriander as well, so that goes in there. And then we've got so I haven't managed to keep a coriander plant alive yet, which is why I'm using bagged up coriander, but I'm going to try to keep a coriander plant alive this time around because I've done really well with my basil plant over there, which I haven't really named, but yeah, that would be pretty cool to have a coriander plant. I wonder what other herbs you could keep alive. I mean, parsley I guess you could do, but yeah, it is what it is. Again, you kind of want to go over it like it doesn't really matter if it's all perfect. It's fine if you've got like chunky bits, as long as you've kind of got it all in there. So how much coriander? I mean, yeah, that's a lot. I think that's pretty much good enough. So the reason we're going to do this in stages is because obviously the onions are quite watery and they're going to kind of leave their water. I don't know how else to describe it, but they're going to sweat, not leave their water. They're going to sweat. So we've got the onions, we've got the chilies, and we've got coriander in there. Now I'm going to add the kind of flour and give it a bit of a mix. So, and this is wholemeal flour. As you can see, it's like really fine. It's 0.0. You can get this from Ocado. It's called atta. So I'm going to use 2 cups, and it's going to make, I think, a fair amount of bread for like at least 2 meals for me and my wife, which again we're 2 people, so about enough for 4 people, I think. So that's 2 cups, almost like they weren't level, but I think that's totally fine. And you want to add a couple of tablespoons of gram flour. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of gram flour. Why? Just because it adds a slightly different kind of variation in flavor, which is quite nice. Just dip that in there, put that in the sink. Now what we're going to do is we're going to season this bad boy, kind of give it like a proper mix, and we're going to leave it to just kind of sit there and sweat for like probably 20 minutes or so. You know, so how much? Kind of just eyeball it, yeah, like a bit turmeric, bit of red chili powder. This is really spicy red chili powder, so I'm not going to use too much. And I did put like a fair amount of chili in there already, so I'm okay to not kind of go crazy on the chili. And as before, I'm going to add some fenugreek leaves as well. So about maybe that much. Yeah. So fenugreek leaves, again, these are delicious. They add a very nice savory flavor to things. I'm gonna add some fennel seeds as well. Again, why? Because they're just nice. They're a bit cooling. They have like a nice cooling effect. I want to add, like, you can smell it right as you open the bag. It's like really amazing. I need to add, I actually forgot to pull up my cumin. I need to add some cumin as well. And again, all of this will be sort of in the description for yourselves to look at. So again, that much about cumin. Yeah. Pomegranate seeds would have been a nice addition. Traditionally, that's what you add, but I don't have them, so I'm not going to add them. And like, this recipe is incredibly forgiving. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. And now this is where it gets really interesting. So what we're going to do, and I should have taken it out, almost forgot, but we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of ghee, because this dough is a really kind of interesting dough. It's a really hard dough. It's not a very soft dough. Later on, when we actually kind of form the dough, you know, when this will all sort of come together a bit better, we're going to use water, but not very much, to kind of bring things together. But basically what we're aiming for here is just for the ingredients to kind of get to know each other a little bit. So in about 20 minutes, 25-ish minutes, the onions will sweat. That way we're not going to add too much water, because if we add the water now and the onions kind of do their thing, then the dough will end up being a little too soft, which is definitely something we don't want. So again, I'm just going to give that a bit of a wipe. Kind of, again, you don't have to be perfect about this. You can just, the aim here is just to get the dough and onions to get to know each other, to get the flour and onions, not the dough. It's not a dough yet. What are you saying? But yeah, so this is kind of step 1 done. We've got a perfectly seasoned bit of flour with a bit of veg and some seasoning and everything kind of ready. So we're going to leave this to just sort of sit here and hang out for like 20 odd minutes. So it's about 7. We'll be back at 7:20 to see what's up. I'll see you in a few minutes. Back. Hi. So we're in stage 2 of making the cookies. So in stage 1, we'd mix that all up with like flour and gram flour and onions and coriander and all kinds of chili and seasoning and all kinds of fun stuff. And we left it to the side for about 20 minutes, around about at the 30-minute mark, because I had to get some other stuff in the oven, but it is what it is. These have now gotten like quite soft. So these aren't like, you know, raw and kind of just hard, which is the opposite of soft, I guess. So I've got like a slightly bigger kind of bowl here, or wider one, just for ease of kind of kneading, which we're not gonna have to do a lot of kneading. It's actually a really simple one, but I can't really do it in this bowl, so I'm just gonna turn all this out into this and try and get as much of the magic as possible. Yeah. More washing up for later, isn't it? So I'm just gonna kind of give it a little bit of a feel just to see what it's doing, and it feels good. Yeah. So the way we're gonna try and work this is basically we're probably not gonna use up all of the water, but you know, I'm probably gonna end up eating my words. I'm just gonna use like a splash at a time and try and bring this together, and really it's that simple. So 1 splash. Oh, should have taken this one off. Yep, it's coming off. It's coming off. Here we go. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Making a mess is the best kind of fun. So I'm not very good at working with dough. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm so not good at it. I probably shouldn't be doing it on YouTube, but here we are. As you can see, it's sort of coming together a little bit, which is really good, because it means the water from the onions are kind of doing its thing as well. So as you can see, it's already coming into a bowl. We may not actually need all of that water, but hey, oh, I've been wrong before about lots of things. I wonder what I've been wrong about. Right, those are the kinds of things you think when you're kind of working with dough. Maybe I shouldn't have chosen this for a YouTube video. And that's a band-aid, which is not very good, but hey, yo, health and safety violations, right? That's the best. It's just me and my wife anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, I would have still done this. I would have done it without the band-aid if you weren't looking. Yeah, that's I don't know if you saw me do that, but that's a really good way to try and incorporate like bits of water into your dough without actually going absolutely mental. You know, just kind of dip your fingers in the dough and kind of just splash. And again, I know it doesn't seem like very much, but it does do like a decentish job. But I'm just gonna have to do a bit more. So unfortunately, that did seem like it was too much water. It's good, isn't it, working with dough when you're not good at working with dough? But hey, you know, that's how people grow. We make each other uncomfortable, and that's where the fun is. That's where the fun is. Why is it fun? It's not fun. But I promise you, this is actually really delicious. And if you're comfortable with dough and you don't mind kind of getting your hands dirty like I do, it's a fun, very nice recipe to make, and it's just good. It's delicious. It's comfort food. I mean, for me, it might not be for you. Like, I guess mac and cheese is like proper comfort food, isn't it? Like, everybody likes a good mac and cheese. You could go to India and you could ask people if they like a good mac and cheese and they'd say yes. I suppose you could go to Ghana and ask people if they like mac and cheese and they'd say yes as well. Not that I've been to Ghana, and ask people if they like a good mac and cheese. Also, you should be kind of okay with your counter getting dirty, because it's dough. What the fuck were you trying to expect? Probably shouldn't drop F-bombs. So this would be my second ever YouTube video, if you don't count my failed careers. But you know, hey ho. Okay, so this is coming together really nicely, as you can see. It's a bit more onion in there than is useful, but that's okay. It is like a very kind of oniony flatbread. You don't have to use this much onion if you don't want to. You could absolutely just use onion powder even for the flavor. But I've never really seen onion powder or liked it. I mean, I've seen onion powder, I guess. That's not true, right? So we've got our dough coming together quite nicely. So this stage, right, more water would absolutely kill it, which is why I'm just sticking with using the finger method as opposed to pouring, just because you really don't need that much water for this dough. It's a really hard to work with dough. So we're basically done. It's come together. This is probably as together as it's gonna get. There's no point in kind of kneading it anymore, because we actually don't want that much gluten to form. We should be happy with this level of togetherness. So as you can see, like, I press it and it stays pressed, right? The sign of I don't know, I've not watched enough YouTube to tell you what that means. But the pizza dough one, like, you press it and it comes back. This is not that, because you know, for a pizza dough you want like a really kind of smooth, elastic, and this is none of those things. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna split this up, roll it out, fry it up, and that's our bread. So I'm just gonna tidy up, put this in a decent enough bowl to work with, get set up to roll things out, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Cheers, bye. Back, hi. So I've got a pan, non-stick preferably, on the hob. It's on full whack. I want it to get as hot as humanly possible. I've got a rolling thing set up over here. You don't need to use this. You can actually just use a surface. This is known as a chocolate balan. It's I don't know what this is, a rolling pin, yeah, but a really thin one, and a surface. I've got a little bit of flour ready to, and it's the same one that I used at the wholemeal one, to dust stuff and to kind of make sure it's all good. I've got a pot of ghee here ready with a little brush in there, so I can brush the stuff there. I've got a spatula ready to flip stuff, and I've got a fork ready to kind of poke holes. What we're going to do basically is we're going to take this and we're going to divide it up into as many halves as looks reasonable, and then we're going to start kind of frying them up. I'm only going to film one of them because, you know, otherwise it will be here forever. Yeah, as I said, we'll do this in parts. So this is kind of the third part really, which is so this, half of this looks, so, you know, eight kind of bits, right? So I'd rather have like a bread that's too small than one that's too big, right? So I'm just gonna kind of dust that up a bit. Dust this bad boy up. This is very important to dust actually more than this, because yeah, just things stick, don't they? Yeah. So I'm really bad at rolling out circles. You don't need to roll out a circle. If you can't roll out a circle, just like me, you can absolutely have a square or a triangle or any other shape that makes you feel good about your dinner. This is not a very good shape though, is it? It's not really holding together very well. It's fine. We'll scrunch that and fix it. Kind of go, yeah, this is kind of looking okay. It's a little too thin, a little too fat on this side. And keep going. Also, apologies about the foggy lens. I didn't realize the lens was foggy. Not that, you know, a few lot would tell me. But yeah, it was foggy. Cool. This is looking happy. The middle bit was a bit fat, so I got that rolled up, and that's looking good. So something like this, you know, it doesn't have to be a round shape, but it can be any shape that you're comfortable to eat. And I'm comfortable to eat this shape. Now, this is really, this is getting very hot, by the way. This is really important. You kind of want to poke holes because you really don't want this bread to puff up. That's not something that you want. Usually when you make flatbread, like Indian style flat bread, at least you kind of want it to puff up. In this particular case, you don't, right? So I'm just going to start with a bunch of ghee. Just a slight thing of ghee. So there's something for this to kind of latch onto in terms of crispy bits. This shouldn't take more than like a minute, you know, to kind of fry up. What we're going to do is we're going to give this a nice chance to get brown on that side, and then we're going to pastry brush the top of this, and then we're going to flip it so that it's like nice and kind of golden on both sides. And we're going to get a plate out to like put it on, and then at the end, which is the last stage of this recipe, is how we're gonna serve it up. So my side that's in the oven has about 20 minutes to go, which is round about how much time it's gonna take me to make 8 of these bad boys anyway. So yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a faff, I'm not gonna lie, but it's nice. It's good. It's good comfort food, you know. Fried bread. How could you disagree? Is that even? So as you could tell, the pan was already ripping hot by the time this got on. Like, it's uncomfortably hard for me to even stand here and kind of talk to you, but that's very important, especially for bread. So you can see it's kind of crisping up a little bit, so we'll give it. This is another really good way of getting it crisp, right? Just smash it, kind of flatten it in the pan. The next couple of ones I'm going to roll slightly bigger maybe, because this is quite thin, but I think it's okay. So yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. Again, we're just going to give it a bit of a smash. So you want as much surface area contact as possible. So this looks pretty pale. It's got really nice brown spots. But as it sort of sits there while the others cook, it'll start to darken up a little bit, which is what I was talking about with adding the gram flour and things. So usually what I do is like, oh, that was weird. While that last bit is crisping up, I'm going to just start with the next one. So for this one, I'm just going to use like a bigger ball, even though this is actually the same size as that one, because it was halves, wasn't it? Yeah, maybe I'll just take some from this one. Yeah, see how you feel about that. Yeah. And again, you want to start from the place of our circle like this, and you want to actually, Way too much flour. Then you smash that down like that. Yeah, now we're talking, now we're cooking with gas. I mean, we've been cooking with gas this entire time though, to be fair. There's no other way to cook. But, yeah, I mean, I guess you could cook with electricity, couldn't you? Yeah, so we're just gonna give this boy, what? Ooh, it double flipped onto me, another flip, and that one is actually ready. I mean, yeah, you got beautiful brown bits on that side, and that is pretty good. That is very, very nice. Yeah. So we're gonna take that off. It's fine if it breaks up. It's gonna break up in your stomach anyway. And I might do another one because that one was a bit bad, wasn't it? The first one's always a bit grim. Yeah, that's what. It's like pancakes. So again, what you want to do when you're rolling is you want to, like when you push down, you don't want to push down in the middle. Like you want to push down on the edge, and then that way the middle bit is the last bit to kind of roll out. I think. I don't know. I'm not really very good at this, as you can tell. Oh, that pan is hot. I'm just going to turn it down a notch. So I can tell that that bit there on the edge is a bit fatter. Like when you pat it down, just like feel, right? Like you can tell which bit is fat, which bit isn't, and then just kind of work your way into that magic. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's about ready. That bit. Yeah, hey, that looks happy to me. Again, don't forget the bit where you boop 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 boop. Yeah, right. Again, what we're gonna do a bit of ghee, and then a bit of that. And then we're gonna do. I guess we'll do the brush when we do the flip, right? For now, I'll do this one. Bit of smash burger action. I do love a good smash burger actually. I wish I could have a smash burger for dinner. But that's takeaway, and that's bad for you. Like I said, while that is cooking, I'm gonna kind of do this one up. And like I said, I quite like the bigger ball, so I'm just gonna stick with that. And it wasn't really sticking to the surface, so I'm not really gonna flour it too much. So yeah, just gonna smash it. It's ready. After that one is done, I'm just gonna pause the video a bit, just because you probably don't want to see me do the rest of them. That doesn't make any sense. But I am hungry, so I'm gonna keep churning away, even though I'm not filming on these. Like I said, the shape here is not very important. It's the least important thing of the whole lot. The seasoning probably is the most important thing, right? Because you want your food to taste good. And there's onion everywhere. It's just not gonna. How's that a good thing, huh? I mean, there is onion flatbread, so I guess the fact that there's onion everywhere is not a bad thing, is it? Probably means I did it right. Yeah. Now let's see what the other side looks like. Yeah, that is nice. Look at that. Give it a bit of a smash action. I said I was going to stop filming. Yeah, cool. So that's pretty much kind of how you do it, and that's what, like, as you can see, like this little chunk has already started to turn a bit darker, which is really awesome. And as it cools, this is just going to get more delicious. So I'm going to finish doing the rest of this, have a bit of a cleanup, and come back for the last phase of this, which is the bit where we put everything together. See you in a minute. Back. Cool. Hi. We're at the last stage of my Koki video, which is these beautiful flatbreads, as I was frying them up before in the pan over there. And this is the last bit where we serve them up. So the way I'm going to serve them up is, I made this a little bit earlier, which is the kind of all the veg that I chucked in the oven with a bunch of spices. And they do look like a little bit knobbly, as you can tell. Those are the tomatoes. but they're absolutely delicious. The potatoes have really crisped up. The aubergine looks absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is I am now going to dish it up, and the way I do it is really simple. So I'm going to use that spoon for that. I'm going to stick with that one for that. So basically get a couple of these bad boys in here. I'm just going to go for 2 for my wife because she's been snacking all evening. I use natural stout yogurt just because that's what I've always used, and it sits really nicely in my gut, which is I'm just going to go with 2 big kind of spoonfuls. And again, with the yogurt, you want to season with a bit of black pepper because that's always just really nice. And you want to leave that in there. And you're going to get some of this beautiful stuff in here too. And that's a really nice kind of nobby dinner sorted, which is your koki with yogurt and a little veg side. Cheers. Bye.